conference, and what a walk that was. I was down earlier on in the year to run the Cardiff Half Marathon today. There are some bodies that are meant to be in Lycra, and there are other bodies that are not meant to be in Lycra. And this body before you is one that should never see Lycra. But thank you all very much for all the work that you do. I'm sure that the party is ever so grateful for every single leaflet, every door you knock, and above all, the Conservative philosophy that you take back to the constituencies and the regions and countries of the United Kingdom. I am also sure that we will continue to carry on campaigning for Conservatives, wherever that will be, making sure we're knocking on those doors and delivering the leaflets that we need to do. It is vital that we as a party continue to make sure that no corner, no stone is left unturned. And we do deliver, and we do make sure that the Conservatives speak louder in every part of the United Kingdom, and in particular in Wales, where I have the huge privilege of being the Assembly leader, leading a great dynamic team of Conservatives in the National Assembly for Wales. And whilst it has been a tiring period for you, our members and activists, I'm sure that without your support, we would not have got to the great backbone that the Conservative Party has, which is each and every one of you, making sure that the Conservative message is delivered. And I thank you all for what you're doing. During that period in Wales, we've seen some historic advances, not to mention some painful losses over the last 12 months. In May's local government elections, the Welsh Conservatives achieved some record-breaking results. We fielded more than 600 candidates, double our council representation, and took control of 6 local authorities across Wales. And although not the result we'd have liked, the general election gave us many reasons to be upbeat. The Welsh Conservatives made history by receiving 34% of the popular vote, our highest share of the vote in Wales since the 1930s. But on the battlefield, we sadly suffered some losses too. In June, we lost 3 excellent members of Parliament, Byron Davies, Craig Williams, and Dr. James Davies. Each have served the party and their constituents with unwavering distinction. And although they will be missed, I am confident that their time will come again. Byron has already got started as the new party chairman in Wales, and I have no doubt that he will do a great job. And while the results in June wasn't what we'd hoped for, we are in government in Westminster, making the decisions that improve the lives of the people of Wales and across the rest of the United Kingdom. Decisions like we saw in December with the introduction of the historic funding floor for Wales. Thanks to the Conservatives and the leadership of Theresa May, the decades-old complaint about underfunding in Wales is now over. We've signed major city deals in Cardiff and Swansea and made significant progress on the North Wales growth deal. And in the summer, we had the biggest one of the lot, a long-standing thorn in the side of the Welsh economy, scrapping 7 bridge tolls. Removing the tolls will deliver a £100 million boost to the Welsh economy, lifting productivity and prosperity for families and their communities. Very often, £100 million can seem a figure that most people can't get their heads round. But it's worth bearing this in mind. If you're a motorist, that's £1,600 into your bank balance. If you're a white van man or woman, that's £3,500 into your business. And if you're a HGV driver, that's £5,000 into your business. That's Conservatives delivering for people in Wales and across the United Kingdom. Real money into real businesses, creating opportunities. And I'd like to thank the Welsh Office, led by Alan Cairns, for their tireless efforts in securing this development. But the recent changes in the electoral landscape have shown us that we have some lessons to learn. First and foremost, we need to speak outside our traditional voter base. To defeat the unforgiving socialism of the Labour Party, we need to show that Corbyn is nothing more than a seductive and destructive lie. And we need young people on our side. And that begins by speaking to them, speaking to their needs. If we don't, then the false prophets and their falsehoods will flourish. at a time when Labour are happily to shamelessly swindle our young people with promises that can't be kept and have no intention of keeping them, we need to persuade young people that fairness, aspiration matter more than quick fixes and expensive gimmicks. To say how the Welsh Conservatives would use the new tax-raising powers in Wales in a way which uniquely benefits young people. How we'll put extra money in their pockets so that they can raise the deposits for their own home and scrap stamp duty for first-time buyers so they can get on the property ladder. How we'll ensure that all public sector staff in Wales under the age of 25 are paid the living wage and make Wales a country that works for young and old. Because, as we've seen with Labour's social media activity, a lie gets halfway around the world before the truth has the chance to get its pants on. Our hard work versus Labour's entitlement, responsibility versus dereliction of duty, democracy versus a Venezuelan light vision of the world. Jeremy Corbyn is a real threat, not just to the government, but to public services, the economy, and the very future of our nation. And we need to take that threat seriously, because in Wales we've seen firsthand what a Labour government can do to our people and our communities. In Labour-run Wales, you are twice as likely to be on an NHS waiting list. Your children are less likely to achieve 5 GCSEs above C, and take-home pay is the lowest of all the nations in the United Kingdom. And what about hard-working families looking to buy their own home? Labour have pulled up the ladder on aspiration, scrapping the best housing policy ever delivered, right to buy. A Conservative policy which has done more for social mobility than any Labour government has ever achieved. And if we've learned anything during the last general election, it's that we need to articulate a vision which reaffirms our status as the party of aspiration. We need to explain to people in practical terms how the Conservative ideas, such as right to buy, can transform lives for the better, no matter what your background is. We need to continue delivering for all 4 parts of the United Kingdom, as we've done over the last 7 years. In Wales, we've got one of the world's youngest and fastest growing capital cities, full of potential, ready to be unleashed. And further down the M4, we have our only Premier League city, Swansea, which awaits an important decision on the much-discussed Tide Lagoon. We've taken brave decisions in the past, and we need to make another decision now. Because let's be clear, people across the country depend on our party to govern and govern in the national interest. The threat is clear, and for that you only need to look at the dangerous rhetoric from the Labour Party conference last week. The farce of a national conference where talk of Brexit was banned by that lovely bunch Momentum. A conference where the Shadow Chancellor told us he was bringing PFI back in-house at eye-watering cost to the country's finances, but no explanation how that money would be raised. A conference where Corbyn and MacDonald told us quite happily there would be a run on the pound if Labour got into power, as if it was as normal as popping down the shop for a pint of milk. The prospect is frightening. And that's before you delve deeper into the hypocritical nature of the Labour Party and their policies. Before the election, Corbyn promised thousands of young people across Wales and the rest of Britain that tuition fees would be banished for good. Yet what happened in Wales only 4 weeks after June's election? The Labour-run Welsh Government didn't abolish fees, no. In a disgraceful betrayal of youngsters across Wales, they hiked them up to a figure higher than anywhere else in the United Kingdom. Whether it's PFIs, tuition fees, or the EU, you simply cannot trust the Labour Party. And I know that this hall, like the country at large, contains a broad range of views on the European Union. But as Conservatives, we define ourselves by the pragmatic way in which we approach a changing landscape. And I know that we are all dedicated to making Brexit work for the whole of the UK. even if it is not always easy to put our feelings to one side. As someone who backed leaving the European Union, I carry the odd scar on my back for that decision. But I also empathise with colleagues who found themselves on the other side of the result. In 1997, when the public voted by a narrow margin to establish the National Assembly for Wales, we found ourselves on the wrong side of history. However, while the Conservatives initially opposed devolution, the decision of the Welsh public was final. We didn't try to overturn the result. We got on with the job of shaping the institution for the better of Wales and the better of the United Kingdom. And in Wales, it's fair to say, it has been frustrating that the Labour Party has not adopted a similar approach to Brexit. Instead of engaging in pitched battles with the United Kingdom government at every turn, that energy should be used on improving public services and getting the Welsh economy ready for the opportunities ahead. To take full advantage of the political establishment in Wales needs to do some serious soul-searching. Brexit poses a number of opportunities and, of course, a number of challenges. Those opportunities are vast for Britain. The opportunities to break into fresh new markets and to shape a new policy framework which delivers for Wales and the United Kingdom. But they will be missed if the governing establishment in Wales does not shake off its collective state of mourning. Where possible, we can help. The Welsh Conservatives are willing to act as the bridge between the Welsh Government and our colleagues in Westminster to ensure difficulties are overcome in our nation's interests. Because as the Prime Minister rightly outlined in her Florence speech, it'll be a damning judgment on us all if we do not rise to the moment. The stakes are high, and it is incumbent on us all in the Conservative Party to unite, put personal agendas aside, and fight for the greater good. The challenge upon us is immense, and we must work united behind our Prime Minister as she leads us on this historic journey. Because if we don't, we risk everything. The economy, jobs, public services, the Brexit negotiation, our national security, and the frightening prospect of Jeremy Corbyn in 10 Downing Street. The opportunities are vast, the challenges too. So come on, conference, let's roll our sleeves up and let's get on with the job. Our country needs a united Conservative Party governing in the national interest. Thank you.